What's up, YouTube? The old Bayside geocacher back here with some caching with Stick Sport Girl. It's Thanksgiving weekend and we're going to be at the Stroud Preserve. This is going to be a two-part adventure because there's 4 in total adventure labs. I'm going to have 2 adventure labs on one video and 2 adventure labs on the second. So it's going to be part 1 and part 2. We ended up getting 23 caches in total, so very successful, and lovely hikes on the afternoon. If you like this series of 2 adventure labs, give us a thumbs up. Always consider subscribing down below. You know, Mr. BA is up on Instagram, but before we get to part 1 and part 2 of the caching adventure, a word from our sponsor, CK Productions, LLC.
Episode is brought to you by Corey Katona and CK Productions for all your audio and voiceover needs. Visit www.coreykatona.com for more information. That's www.coreykatona.com.
Alrighty, so we are at stage 1 of a hiking tour, of the Woods and Meadows, part 1 of Stroud Preserve. And the first stop is called Woods This Way, so we actually just came from the woods. But this would be the entrance to that trail that you will see, or you have seen. The question here is, what color are the double blazes on the trail marker? I think it's red. I'm going to try, or actually double blazes are over here, so it looks like they might be white. Yeah, they are white. Alright. So we're going to come back. I think we're going to take a little walk, see if we can get maybe 1 or 2 more of these in here before the sun goes, and then hopefully we'll come back and grab the bonus cache from Adventure Labs that we did before this. Alright, so we are at stop number 2 now on the a walk through Woods and Meadows part 1. And at this stop, this is called Up the Hill, so we actually came down the hill, not up the hill, because we did it in reverse order. But the question here is, which direction does the red trail go? And here it goes up a hill, as in the name, so that's that. And then so we got that, and we'll continue on likely to stage 1, so we'll see when we get back there. Alright, so we are now starting our 3rd adventure lab of the day. This is a walk through the Woods and Meadows part 1. So it's going to be similar to the 2 that we just did, where there's our part 1 and part 2, and then at the end we'll get the coordinates to the adventure lab bonus cache. So we're still in the Stroud Preserve, but we're on a different part of the path now. We're going to start at 3 because based on where we were last, that was the closest thing for us. So 3 is sharp left turn. And the question here is, if it's not snowing, what color is the trail beneath your feet? So I guess it's brown. Yes, brown is correct. Don't overthink it. Okay, so now it looks like we have to go up the hill. That's what it's called, up the hill. So we'll come back to our next, we'll come back when we're at our next. Alright, so we are still on our walk through the Woods and Meadows part 1. This is number 4. This is the trail marker. As you can see, there's a nice stable behind me. The question here is, what 2 different colors are shown on this trail marker? And that it looks like red and green to me. Christmas colors, we're getting in the spirit. Alright, so it looks like we have to continue straight, and then we're going to get to another overlook, so we'll come back when we're there. Alright, so we are at stop number 5 on the Meadows and Woods tour. So this is our last on part 1. This is Scenic Overlook, and the question is, hopefully what is not seen over the Scenic Overlook. So there's no trucks or buses or cars or bikes or trains or trolleys, so that's the answer. Alright, so I got the north coordinates now for this particular bonus cache. So we are on a walk through the Woods and Meadows part 2. So we had part 1, now we have part 2. First stop is Lucky Hill Road, and said Stroud Preserve is in harmony with nature. So that's our first question, first clue on part 2 of the Woods or Meadows and whatever it is. Meadows and woods.
Oh.
Meadows and woods. So we'll be on to our next phase. So we
Press.
are at a walk through woods and meadows part 2. This is number 2 of that lab. So this question asks what color trail goes to the right, and green goes to the right. So that's that. And then I believe we're going to be going on the green trail to the right. So we'll come back when we're at our next stop. So we are at walk through the woods and meadows part 2. We are on part 3 of part 2. This is trail junction number 2. And the question is, what letter is above the bottom arrow on the trail marker? Oh, P for parking, probably. Alright, so we found that one. We will, on our next stop, we will be out of the woods. Alright, so we are at out of the woods. This is stop 4 on a walk through the woods and meadows, part 2. And the question here is, what 2 colors does the trail marker show for the gravel road? And it's over here, I guess. So it's yellow and green. Yep. Alright. So then we'll go continue up the road. Looks like there's going to be a bench, and that'll be our last stop for this. Alright. So we are at stop 5 out of 5 on a walk through the woods and meadows part 2. So this is our last adventure lab cache here in the Stroud Preserve. Woohoo! So this is the bench, and the question here is, how many vertical posts are there on each side of the nearby guardrail? Looks like there's 5.
On the nearby guardrail. One, two, three, 4, 5. You got it. Okay.
We'll check out and see where the bonus caches are. If we can get
And
them
we'll
today,
be back.
we will.
Just a little history. Battle of Brandywine here, as you can see. Generals Howe and Cornwallis crossed the Brandywine with 11,000 forces, marching from Kennett Square, trying to outflank Washington at Chadds Ford. They continued up Birmingham Road to Oscar Hill. Okay, and this is where the part of the Battle of Brandywine took place. A very historic area that we live in Chester County and the Brandywine Valley.
Alright, so we're at our last cache of the day as the light is slowly fading from the sky. It's a walk through the woods and meadows lab bonus. We're here at Jeffress Ford Nature Area, and the hint is Nano behind, face high, left. And if you go back here, it's right here. I'll sign the log. We're done for the day. That's 23 caches on the day for us. So signing off today. Hope you enjoyed the Stroud Preserve.